Welcome, everyone. We got Steven here today, and he's going to share a little bit more about his plus minus 12 months in the program with the Kinetic method and where he started and where he is today. So welcome, Steven.
Hey, Mauro, how you doing?
Very good. Good to have you on.
Good to
So
be here.
yeah, before we dive into your transformational journey, can you tell a little bit more to the guys listening on your lifestyle, your age, height, weight, that people get understanding of that, and then we can dive more into the fitness stuff.
Yeah, I am 5'10" and a half, almost 5'11". A dentist. I am 47 years old. I'll be turning 48 this September. I'm a dentist. I have a couple of practices, and I started in January, February, about a year ago or so, with Mauro based on a recommendation from a entrepreneurial group that I'm in.
Good. So if at 47, this is probably not the first program, regimen coach that you hired or you did. So what would you say, when you look back to all the previous things you did was different here with the Kinetic method?
It was a few. Um, Actually, you were the first actual, you know, real coach that I hired. In the past, what I've done is watch a YouTube video, read a book, try this, try that. Oh, let me try this low carb thing. Let me try the Tim Ferriss 4 Hour Body, that sort of thing. Um, so I've tried all these things, but never with like active accountability. Um, and I got away with it for the longest time. Oh, I did have a coach. I did do a half Ironman, but the goal of that was not necessary. The goal of when you're set out to do a half Ironman, the goal is to finish the race. The goal is um, not to, try to have a podium finish or something like that on your first one. So I kind of forgot about that. It's a long story on the half Ironman, but yeah, that was the difference. Was the accountability. I had accountability, I guess, with the half Ironman training because you had to do the workouts, and it sucked so bad. I was in Panama City, or Panama, a couple days ago, and this friend of mine just signed up for it, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want you to text me the moment whether it's a swim, bike, or run, when you reach the point you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because it's brutal. I mean, it's a part-time job. It's probably 20, maybe 20 hours a week or something, working out. And but what's interesting about that is that type of exercise gets you ready for a half Ironman, but not necessarily functional living. And the reason I noticed that is like the day before the race, or a couple days before the race, we flew into San Francisco, took in the sights, and we walked across the Golden Gate Bridge. And those muscles, I wasn't used to walking that much, and I was kind of sore. And I was like, man, I cannot believe this. I can do the swim, the bike, the run, and then just I don't know how many miles we walked that day, but it was different muscle. Walking muscles are different than cycling and running muscles. But I was like, man, I can't believe I'm a little sore from just walking, you know. So I find that interesting.
So if you compare that together with like the other approaches that you did, what was exactly different here? I know you said this is this help you more, or you touched on that this help you more in a functional way? Maybe you can expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, just I never appreciated how important legs were. Like my whole life, I never really worked out legs. And I heard a lot of things like why you need to work out legs and that sort of thing. But I've come to realize that legs are what move you through this earth, move you through this world. And you need strong legs. And if you don't have strong legs, you know, who want, you're not helping yourself. So like incorporating leg workouts definitely has enhanced everything with my metabolism, just everything. And something I do every winter is ski, and I usually do like a specific ski workout to um, prepare for skiing. And this year I really didn't do it. I just was doing the workouts. I still got a little sore, but not as bad as years past where it was pretty much debilitating because you're basically doing lunges down the mountain, when you're skiing, snow skiing, and it's like 100% eccentric, exercise that you're doing. But so functionally, doing all the squats, the deadlifts, all those exercises that you hate to do, really help you, for activities.
What about the diet part and the other factors, maybe the blood work?
Yeah, but so the diet was great because after I learned what a portion was, and I learned what an actual serving size of something is. And, for the longest time, you know, I would, I was overeating and didn't realize it. And then, so once I started, weighing my food, I got kind of calibrated and to the point where if I'm in a restaurant, I can look at, the chicken breast. It's like, oh, that looks like that's about 5 ounces. So really kind of getting calibrated for the, macros, but it took a long time of weighing things. And then I remember one time I was making my daughter spaghetti, and you look there on the package, 2 ounces. So, you know, 2 ounces, and she's a kid. She's 11 years old, and she's like, wow, you actually gave me the right amount of food. I can actually finish this, versus in the past, I just gave her, way too much food. So I think the on the macro side, that was, really helpful to um, understand what this is a serving size. So that was that. What was the other one? Diet and
And the labs, right? The reason I bring it
oh,
up,
the blood
blood
work. Oh
work,
yeah, the blood work. Oh
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
because
the blood work.
you
Yeah, that improved
one
dramatically.
yeah, you one of your friends like with David, and the other thing is where you went the second time or third time you went to the doc, and you were like really happy with all the markers, like, hey man, like I've achieved everything I wanted. Blood work has never looked better. So obviously I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but it would be good, um, to have your take on that as well.
Yeah, it was great. So my physician is a friend of mine. He's like, man, what are you doing? This is great. And he's on Optavia, and he looks like shit. He looks like you just see the face, he just doesn't have a lot of vibrancy. And one of the things I found most interesting from the blood work was the free testosterone that increased, like organically, without taking testosterone shots or anything like that. And that was great. And I didn't even know that I was, in a non-optimal range before, but that was, like a huge benefit from the program, and and sticking to something, for a year or so.
When you talked a little bit about testosterone and some of the results that you've seen there with the labs, like a lot of people obviously want to know what results overall you achieved. So maybe you can share more around that, let's say, physically, but also mentally, internally, let's say energy wise, performance, weight loss, that we get like a full picture of the full transformation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was having this conversation with my wife this morning, and you don't even realize it, but or maybe I'm the only one, but over time, one day you don't wake up, so now it's uncommon for me to wake up without an erection. So now, I mean, that's like a almost like a daily thing. And but before that, that wasn't there. Um and so that was definitely a plus. In terms of a energy standpoint, I have I started out the program, I was in, you know, probably average, I probably had like an average fitness, maybe slightly above average fitness level, in terms of endurance beforehand. But now, like, I've got a ton of energy. And, so this last week, um, or so ago, I was on spring break with my daughter, and she's 11. And I got more, it's trackable on the app, and I got more vertical skiing with her than the guys trip I take every February skiing. And what's interesting to me is, like, it takes everything. I mean, she's got so much energy and she's so good. And I could hang with her. And I was like, when is this kid going to run out of energy? And, we would ski until basically she was tired, but I was able to hang with her. And we're going down blacks, double black diamonds, not easy stuff. And, I made this comment to a friend of mine who's about the same age about, that's one of the reasons why I stay in shape, is so that I can keep up with her. And he looked at me, he goes, you know what? I need to do the same thing. I need to get in shape, because he's got 3 kids and he's having a hard time. He was on a different mountain and he's having a hard time keeping up, with his kids. And so I think it's important to have um, you know, a vision of the future that's greater than the present. So one of the things that drive me is, and I didn't come up with this, it's just I've adapted it, is just having a great vision of the future. So for me, it would be something along the lines of, um, maybe 20 years from now, being able to keep up, with the grandkids, potentially, skiing, or 30 years from now, skiing, or something active, whether it's scuba diving, hiking, whatever, just being able to do it. Um, so you need a strong vision and a really strong why, which goes back to what, I was saying to that half Ironman thing. Like, I didn't have a really good why. I thought that was a good way to get in shape, and it's not. It's
That's the
awful.
worst way to get in shape.
It
Yeah,
really is. Like one of the guys
so
when we were in
unsustainable.
Panama, so this friend of mine, who him and his wife are doing it, and he's getting ready to do a full Ironman, and he's got like this huge gut, and he's going to Peru like in a week or two for a full Ironman over there. And it's it's not a good way to get in shape, in my opinion. It's an awful way.
I mean, you should do it for other reasons, but not to get in shape. So I think there should be more like a competitive challenge or an achievement rather than the goal of having physical fitness transformation as a primary goal. That should be like a side effect or benefit from it, but not like the North Star, I think.
Right.
Sorry?
No, I agree with you.
Would you say you talked like a lot about the testosterone and the erections, the energy, which is great. Would you say that extra energy and testosterone and just your overall, you being in overall better health and better shape has impacted your business in any way?
Mm, I don't think that has. I think what I attribute is part more on the meditation side. So I've been meditating and not just business, but I find myself um, being less reactive to situations. So I think that 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 practice, um, 'cause my business was pretty dialed in, um, but in terms of how I react to people and family and certain situations, I think the meditation part of it has really been, for me, helpful, and that's um, part of the program for me, I think. And that's probably overlooked by a lot of
Oh, it's,
people.
I was just about to say it's way overlooked. It's like, let me just get the diet and the supplements and some workouts. It's like, that is good, but don't forget this one little thing here that is just the boring thing of sitting and breathing. But yeah, it will weaponize your mind.
It really does, and I can, like, almost, like, certain things will happen, and it's almost like I feel like I can remove myself a little bit from the situation and observe and then just, like, just not react to things, um, which helps, I guess, helps the business because, like, if you overreact, I was talking to my wife about it this morning. I was like, if you overreact, well, I didn't say it was like we were talking about the current state of affairs with HR and trying to find help, and our expectations are here. This is reality with the workforce, and I was just like, um, this gap right here between reality and what your ideal is will drive you crazy. And I think we have a great team. We get compliments on our team all the time. They're never gonna be here. They're just intellectually incapable, but, um, still work with them, still appreciate them. But if you spend all your time here between the gap between what you think is an ideal and where they are, you're gonna drive yourself crazy and you're gonna lose staff members, and you're gonna lose team members searching for this. And she's like, and it sounds like a cop out, um, but it's just an easier way to live, and it's a more peaceful way for me to live. Just like, you know what, they're doing their best. They're not being bitches. They're not, trying to sabotage anything. This is literally the best they can do. Is how I look at it.
It's a good way to put it. I have one.
Yeah, and a hard. If you would have asked me that, what year is it? I mean, this is 2024. Man, 10 years ago. I mean, I would go through assistance, all the time because, I expected this and this is the capability and this is where they're topping out. I mean, like a lot of these people, just graduated from high school, right? And they don't know how to problem solve and think and see the big picture, on things. And so I can see my growth as an individual, how I've changed and evolved over the years. And one of the things is just it's overlooked. It's the meditation. It's really important. And you'll hear that from, you listen to a podcast, you listen to, different business leaders, and that you look up to, and I think one common theme is meditation. And you'll hear, what's that guy's name? Bridgewater, Ray Dalio. And like you'll hear Ray Dalio. I don't know. I doubt. I'd be surprised if Elon Musk meditates, but like you'll hear all these successful people, and then it just finally dawned on me, and then you talked about it in as one of the the parts of the program in addition to the water. I need, if everybody's doing it, I need to. I probably need to try it, and it's so benign. It's 10 minutes, right? That's first thing you do.
Yeah, I remember when I read about certain types of meditations, and they always gave, like in the business mindset, they always gave like Ray Dalio as a example, where he would meditate at lunch, and then a lot of Wall Street guys and guys in the financial space would start to meditate, and he kind of pushed that there in the financial world. It was very interesting to see, like, oh, when this guy says it, that it makes him more money, then a lot of guys jump on it.
Yeah, yeah. But it helps, not just money, but it helps you with people you are around. I mean, I'm far from perfect, but like I'm much better father, husband, friend, way less. So I'll give you an example. Um, so we were going to this private resort in Panama, and our flight from North Carolina to Atlanta was canceled because of mechanical issues. And it was an early morning flight, and it's probably hard for most people to believe, but so we were supposed to go there to Panama and then take a private plane to the island that we are all splitting with a bunch of couples. And so I automatically knew that we were not going to make that private plane to the island. And there was this big rush of people and there's two gate agents. And I did not freak out one iota, not one. And I just picked up my phone, put my earbud in, called the airline, called Delta, and started walking. I was like to my wife, like, "Hey, let's go get our bags," um, and started walking away from the madness, of the crowd. And I didn't get upset one bit, and I just let everything play out. Long story short, they put us on a different flight, different airline, and we missed that private plane, and so we ended up taking a boat. But it's like not letting your cortisol get out of control, not letting an external event that you have zero influence on, zero control over, get you worked up. This literally just happened just like this was Thursday. Yeah, we were flying out Thursday. And we spent a lot of money on this trip, on the plane, everything. And because of the meditation, it wasn't the end of the world. But a lot of people would just freak the hell out over a situation like that. So that's like a benefit just in life, not just, just fitness, just having that calmness, awareness, of your mind, just, because things like that are going to happen. Things like that are going to come up in life. And what good is it to let it ruin your day?
Yeah, I think also a lot of people are short on temper, and there's just like an extra few drops before that glass spills over. Where if you meditate, you always like empty the glass, so to say, with all the things life throws at you, and you become more resilient, as you said. So if there's something else, it's like you're like fluid, like in Matrix, where's the bullets like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to see it. And it's it's also, I think, part of masculinity, where you're in control of your emotions instead of your emotions being in control of you. And as you said, you could have bitched around when that plane was late or there was that change whatsoever, but you stay calm and in the zone and grounded. And I believe your wife and everyone with you will respect you and appreciate you much more for that.
100%. 100%. I mean, this was like a $20,000 trip over 4 or 5 days. So, I mean, it was not inexpensive, so, but, um, I was in control, I just like, well, I can't do anything. I can't do anything about that.
That's the way we want to see it. Yeah. I got one last question for you. So, anyone watching this who's maybe a little bit on the fence, thinks they can do it themselves, or maybe they're a little bit skeptical, what would you say are what's your word of advice to that person?
If you could have, if you could have done it by yourself, you would have already done it. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And like the most powerful force is accountability and just holding, I would say the accountability is huge. And then the other thing that I think is important that you have to work on is your self-image. So you really have to keep yourself from sabotaging yourself. So like you have to have you know, you have to see yourself, you know, in a, it goes back. I'm sure I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits by
I
James
do.
Clear,
Yes.
but it's your it's like all these little things and your self-image. Like if I said, "Hey, Morrow," okay, talk about it in the book. You want a cigarette? I believe you would say, "No, I'm not a smoker," because that's not your identity, you know? So it's the same thing with, with fitness and all the little things, all the micro habits, all the little things that you need to do, because your self-image has to change in order to become um, the transformed self. And then once you're there, you truly need to see yourself that way, in my opinion, because um, it takes a while, to work on the mind side of things. But if someone thinks they can do it on their own, I would say that if that were true, you already would have done it. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But you can do it, and you can't do the work for them.
Yeah. We can do 95% as we did with you and the others, but the other 5%, everyone has to do their take. We can't move in with you and drag you to the gym.
Right. That is like one thing that really blew my mind was just how efficient the workouts are. And that blows my mind and how important recovery is. Like one of the clients I sent over to follow, like we have a common friend and he's like a dumb motherfucker. He always is getting injured and because he overdoes it every single time. And I have a saying, boiled water is boiled water, minimum effective dose, MED. And this guy just always, he'll do a Spartan race and like at the last 20 yards 20 yards, unfortunately, like he'll cramp up, something always happens like every 2 or 3 months. And it's like, dude, you're overdoing it. You're not giving your body time to recover. And he's a hard charger. And his cortisol levels are super high and he's never recovering. And the recovery part, I had no idea how crucial that was, but it's critical.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly with boiled water is boiled water. Once you've given your muscles the stimulus, like just let them rest, recover, and come back stronger. There's no need to continue boiling it, like you're just wasting your time and energy.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, boiled water is boiled water. That's from Tim Ferriss's book, I picked up on minimal effective dose, but, like, after you hit that effective dose, I mean, you're, like, diminishing returns or you're actually losing.
Yep, it will go down. All right, this has been great. Thanks for jumping on and sharing your wisdom and experience and insights with anyone listening to this case study.
Thank you so much, Marlon, for everything. You're making a bigger impact than you realize, and it's not just, in the fitness, it's, all the other there's a bunch of other side effects, that you get. So thank you.
Thank you.